Good morning, Lutterworth College. I hope you've had a good weekend. And our thought for the week is this: nothing worth having was ever achieved without effort. And that was by Theodore Roosevelt, or Teddy Roosevelt. He was the 26th president of the US of A, and he was doing his bit for America at the early part of the 20th century. And by all accounts, he was quite a feisty character. He was a bit of a fighter, and he pushed his way through all the political systems, and he became president at the age of 42. And he really was a fighting guy. And I'll come back to that later. But he put loads of effort into absolutely everything. And he was a very successful guy as he shot through the ranks in politics. And he even won the Nobel Peace Prize for stopping a war in Russia, actually, which is quite amazing. So he saved many lives in that, and he was recognized for that. So he was a good guy. He was also against race discrimination, which you may think today, well, yeah, but in those days it was quite a different situation. This is 65 years before the end of apartheid in America, and just 18 years after the American Civil War, and that was over black slavery. So, you know, it was just quite amazing that he was really pushing for civil rights, really, but I don't think that phrase had been coined by then. He entertained American Afro-Americans in the White House, and he was criticized for that big time. So quite an amazing guy. He was a competitive athlete, and he started off as a very skinny teenager, and he didn't like that. He was quite weak, and he built his muscles up, and he did lots of sport, and he became a big, strong guy. And in actual fact, he lost the use. He got blinded in one of his eyes whilst boxing as president of the United States. It's quite crazy. But so he was quite a feisty, fighting guy. So he says there's nothing worth having was ever achieved without effort. So you can see where that's coming from. Now, growing up in Britain, in our culture, it's easy to think that things just come your way and it'll end up okay, whatever. But do you know what? In the real world, it isn't like that. It is not like that at all. And you may hear people say, well, it's taking part that matters. And I have to say that just isn't true out in the workplace or in any place, actually, in our lives. No employer will ever say to you, well, at least you turned up. Because it isn't like that. It really isn't like that. We have to put effort into everything we do. Now, just last Friday, I met up with the head and the staff of a school which have just been Ofsteded, and they have got the top mark. They are outstanding. And just 3 years ago, they were deemed to be a school that requires improvement. So these people have really pushed, they've really worked, and they have achieved. And one thing I noticed that this achievement brings, and that's happiness. So they were all happy, they were all together, they worked hard. Every single person was important in their team. I sat next to their IT support guy, and he's very much a part of the team, a strong player. And the head said to me, I said, congratulations, and he said, it's the team. You know, it was really quite fantastic. So loads of effort, and they achieved. Really, really quite fantastic. But do you know what? In everything that you do in life, we need really to put effort into things, such as relationships, into family life. We have to put effort into these things. It's so important. Anybody who's in competitive sport, you've got to put effort into that, else you won't win. You won't be a winner. It's absolutely necessary that we put effort into all we do. And into our education. That kind of is really important for us right now. But all through life, we need to be putting effort into what we do. Now, the Bible encourages us not to give up or to shrink back, but to have faith because life is tough. Joshua tells us, he tells the people to be strong and very courageous. St. Paul says, "But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining towards what is ahead, I press on towards the goal to win the prize." And when he was talking about self-discipline, he says this, "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize." Now, all of us have different abilities and skills, but you know what? Whoever we are, whatever we can do, we need to do what we do to the very best of our ability. And we need to pour into whatever we do loads and loads of effort. There's a lot out there. There's a whole lifetime of situations and things for you to achieve. And these things are worth achieving. They're worth going for. So pile into them with all your might. All that you do it to the best of your ability. Really go for things. It's worth it. It really is worth it. It brings happiness. And that's what we want. We want that for our lives. So nothing worth having was ever achieved without effort. God bless you. Have a fantastic week.